Babylon is a 2022 American epic historical drama black comedy film written and directed by Damien Chazelle. It features an ensemble cast that includes Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Diego Calva, Jean Smart, Jovan Adepo and Jun Li. It chronicles the rise and fall of many characters during Hollywood's change from silent to sound films in the late 1920s. Chazelle began developing Babylon in July 2019, with Lionsgate Films as the front-runner to acquire the project. It was announced that Paramount Pictures had acquired worldwide rights in November 2019. Much of the main cast joined the project between January 2020 and August 2021, and filming took place in Los Angeles from July to October 2021. Babylon premiered at the Samuel Goldwyn Theater in Los Angeles on November 14, 2022, and was released in the United States on December 23, 2022. It was met with a polarized response from critics upon release and was a box office bomb, grossing $63 million against a production budget of $78 to $80 million and losing Paramount $87 million. It received 5 nominations at the 80th Golden Globe Awards, including Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, winning Best Original Score, 3 nominations at the 76th British Academy Film Awards, winning Best Production Design, and 3 nominations at the 95th Academy Awards. Since its release, the film has received positive reception from critics and audiences in retrospect. Plot: in Bel Air, 1926, Mexican immigrant Manuel Manny Torres helps transport an elephant to a bacchanal at the mansion of his employer, Kinoscope Studios boss Don Wallach. Witnessing this event rife with sex, jazz, and cocaine, Manny becomes smitten with Nellie Laroui, a brash, ambitious self-declared star from New Jersey. Manny, the son of impoverished Mexican refugees, shares his dream with her to be part of something bigger. He helps carry away young actress Jane Thornton, who overdosed on drugs with actor Orville Pickwick, having the elephant walk through to distract partygoers. Also attending are Chinese-American gay cabaret singer Lady Fei Zhu and African-American jazz trumpeter Sidney Palmer. The flamboyantly dancing Nellie is spotted and swiftly recruited to replace Jane in a Kinoscope film. During filming, she crudely upstages Constance Moore. Manny becomes a personal assistant to the benevolent, oft-married film star Jack Conrad, who helps him secure Kinoscope assistant jobs. When a camera is urgently needed for one of Jack's scenes, Manny procures it at the last moment, helping him climb the studio system's ranks. Nellie becomes an it girl covered by gossip columnist Eleanor St. John, who also follows Jack's career. As sound film displaces silence in the late 1920s, Manny skillfully adapts. At Sidney's suggestion, he pitches films starring Sidney's orchestra to Irving Thalberg and becomes a studio executive. Nellie struggles to navigate sound film's demands, one cameraman dies filming her, and increases her drug use and gambling, tarnishing her reputation, despite Manny's assistance. Nellie, shown to have an institutionalized mother, eggs on her drunken father, and inept business manager, Robert to fight a rattlesnake at a party. He passes out. Nellie fights the snake, which bites her neck. Faye kills it and sucks out the venom. Nellie passionately kisses her. By 1932, Jack's popularity is waning, but he still finds work in low-budget Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer films. As Hollywood's audience becomes less tolerant of libertine behavior, executives order Manny to fire Faye, a Kinoscope title writer, because she is lesbian. While practicing lines with new wife Estelle, Jack is devastated to learn his longtime friend/producer, George Munn, has committed suicide. Eleanor and Manny try to revamp Nellie's image and get her into high society, but Nellie lashes out against upper-class snobbery at a party, demonstratively vomiting on William Randolph Hearst. Jack confronts Eleanor over her cover story on his declining popularity. She explains that his star has faded, but he will be immortalized on film. Comparatively light-skinned Sidney is offended when studio executives insist he don blackface to assuage Southern audiences' aversion to interracial orchestras. he leaves Kinoscope to perform live in black establishments. Eccentric gangster James McKay threatens Nelly's life over her gambling debts. Manny rejects her pleas for help, but later secures funds from the movie set drug pusher / aspiring actor The Count, and visits James with him to pay the debts. Manny panics upon learning the money is counterfeit, made by his prop maker. Raving about potential film ideas, the gangster drags them along to a subterranean gathering space for depraved sadist parties. When he realizes the cash is counterfeit, the two are nearly shot but escape, killing James's henchman Wilson. Jack encounters Faye at a hotel party. She reveals her departure for Europe and Path. After returning to his hotel room, a despondent Jack shoots himself dead. Manny asks Nelly to flee with him to Mexico, marry and start a new life. She eventually agrees. James's associate finds Manny, killing the Count and his roommate. When a terrified Manny loses control of his bladder, the hitman spares him on condition he leaves Los Angeles. While Manny gathers their belongings, Nelly reneges on her decision, dancing away into the night. A montage of newspaper clippings reveals Eleanor's death at 76 and Nelly's death from a drug overdose at 34. In 1952, Manny returns to California with his wife Sylvia and young daughter, having fled to New York City and established a radio shop. He shows them the Kinoscope Studios entrance, then visits a nearby cinema alone to see Singin' in the Rain, whose depiction of the industry's transition from silence to talkies, albeit sanitized, moves him to tears. A century-spanning series of vignettes from various films follows. As the focus returns to Singin', Manny tearfully smiles. Cast: Brad Pitt as Jack Conrad, Margot Robbie as Nelly Laroui, Diego Calva as Manny Torres, Jean Smart as Eleanor St. John, Jovan Adepo as Sidney Palmer, Jun Li as Lady Fei Zhu, P.J. Byrne as Max, Lucas Haas as George Munn, Olivia Hamilton as Ruth Adler, Max Minghella as Irving Tharelberg, Rory Scovel as the Count, Catherine Waterston as Estelle, Tobey Maguire as James McKay, Flea as Bob Levine, Jeff Garlin as Don Wallach, Eric Roberts as Robert Roy, Ethan Suplee as Wilson, Samara Weaving as Constance Moore, Olivia Wilde as Ina Conrad, Spike Jonze as Otto von Strasburger, Telvin Griffin as Reggie, Chloe Feynman as Marion Davies, Phoebe Tonkin as Jane Thornton, Troy Metcalf as Orville Pickwick, Jennifer Grant as Mildred Yates, Patrick Fugit as Officer Elwood, Pat Skipper as William Randolph Hearst, Kaya Gerber as Starlet, Cyrus Habai as Footballer, Karen Bethsabe as Sylvia Torres, Sarah Ramos as Harriet Rothschild, Alexander Chen as James Wong Hao, Taylor Hill as Rebecca, John Mariano as Master of Ceremonies, Mather Zickel as Distribution Executive, Albert Hammond Jr. as Guest in Chicken Line, Joe D'Alessandro as Charlie the Photographer, Mark Platt as Producer, J.C. Correa's cameos as the truck driver during the film's opening scene 7, while Mike Manning makes an uncredited appearance as a New York fan. Damien Chazelle voice cameos as partygoers outside the bathroom Nelly hides in at one point in the film. 8. Production. Development. Writer and director Damien Chazelle, left, lead actor Brad Pitt, lead actress Margot Robbie, lead actor Diego Calva, and actor/executive producer Tobey Maguire. It was announced in July 2019 that Damien Chazelle had set his next project following First Man, 2018, as a period drama set in the golden age of Hollywood. Lionsgate Films was the front-runner to acquire the project after distributing Chazelle's La La Land, 2016, with Emma Stone, also having worked on La La Land, and Brad Pitt in the mix to star. 9 In November, Paramount Pictures acquired worldwide rights to the project, with Stone and Pitt still circling roles. 10 Pitt confirmed his involvement in January 2020, describing the film as being set when the silent film era transitioned into sound. 11. He was set to play a character modeled on actor-director John Gilbert. 12. By December 2020, Margot Robbie was in early negotiations to replace Stone, who exited the film due to scheduling conflicts, and Jun Li was also cast. 13. 14. Robbie was confirmed in March 2021, with Jovan Adepo and Diego Calva also joining. 12. 15. In June, Catherine Waterston, Max Minghella, Flea, Samara Weaving, Rory Scovel, Lucas Haas, Eric Roberts, PJ Byrne, Damon Gupton, Olivia Wilde, Spike Jonze, Phoebe Tonkin, and Tobey Maguire, who is also an executive producer on the film, joined the cast. 16. 17. 18. In July, Jean Smart joined the cast. 19. With Chloe Fineman, Jeff Garlin, Telvin Griffin, and Troy Metcalf joining the cast the following month. 2021. Filming. Filming was originally set to take place in California in mid-2020 but was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It began on July 1, 2021 and wrapped on October 21, 2021. 18. 22. 23. 24. 25. Shays Castle was used for the exterior shots of the mansion in the opening party scene, and interiors were shot inside the Ace Hotel Los Angeles. The movie Ranch, Blue Sky Ranch, served as Kinescope Studios. 26. Music. Main article, Babylon, soundtrack. Justin Hurwitz, a frequent collaborator of Chazelle, composed the film's score. 2 tracks from the score, Call Me Manny and Voodoo Mama, were released digitally on November 10, 2022, the latter track being used to underscore the film's first trailer. The soundtrack album was released by Interscope Records on December 9, 2022. 27. Themes. In an essay for Film, Robert Daniels asserts that Babylon is essentially a story of identity and assimilation in early Hollywood. While noting the similarities it shares with films such as The Last Black Man in San Francisco, 2019, Bamboozled, 2000, and Medicine for Melancholy, 2008, Daniels focuses on character Manuel Manny Torres and his rise into the Hollywood studio system. In the process, Manuel cuts off ties with his Mexican roots. Though they live in Los Angeles, he never visits his family. He Americanizes his name to Manny, and at a party thrown by William Randolph Hearst, he presents himself as a Spaniard. Manuel becomes intoxicated by his proximity to the white capitalistic greed that governs Hollywood, and partly the American dream of upward mobility, causing him to traverse a tenuous betweenness of identity. Daniels writes that Manny's erasure of his identity is sparked by his fantasy romance with Nellie Laroui, who represents what he loves about Hollywood, an indefinable magical quality, upward mobility, picturesque happiness, and the ability to permanently define yourself. Daniels also adds that, while climbing the social ladder, Manny contributed to the mythology of Hollywood, recalling one scene where he expeditiously retrieved a camera for a large, destructive set, and a picturesque scene is shot without future film audiences' knowledge of its production, and another scene where Manny pressures black trumpeter Sidney Palmer to don blackface during the filming of a jazz short, so that the lighting on the set doesn't lighten his complexion in the final product. 28. Lisa Lehman of Collider observed that Babylon functions as a rumination on how human beings try to outrun and ignore their innate mortality, pointing to the various nonchalant depictions of death, such as a newscaster's casual account of the suicide of a female Jack Conrad fan, as an especially discernible example of this thematic element. Lehman also pointed to a key scene in the middle of Babylon concerning Conrad briefly being overwhelmed by the death of his friend George Munn before returning to his default unflappable persona, to be another key instance of the feature functioning as a tragic meditation on people trying to evade the inevitable presence of death. 29. Release. Theatrical. Babylon was first screened for critics and industry people on November 14, 2022, at the Samuel Goldwyn Theater in Los Angeles and in New York City the following day. 30. It was released on December 23, 2022. 31. The film was initially scheduled for a December 25, 2021, limited release and a January 7, 2022, wide release 10, but was later delayed by an entire year, with a December 25, 2022, limited release, and a January 6, 2023, wide release, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 32. In October, the film was moved 2 days earlier to the current date and set for a solely wide release instead. 33. Home media. The film was released on VOD platforms on January 31, 2023, and on Paramount Plus on February 21, 2023. It was released on Blu-ray, DVD and 4K UHD a month later on March 21, 2023. 34-35. Marketing. The first Red Band trailer for Babylon premiered on September 12, 2022, at the 2022 Toronto International Film Festival during a Q&A event with Chazelle and TIFF CEO Cameron Bailey. It was released to the public the following day, alongside character posters of the main cast. 36-37. Noting its uncensored nudity, profanity, and drug use, several publications compared the trailer's atmosphere to that of films such as The Wolf of Wall Street and The Great Gatsby, both 2013, which star Robbie and Maguire, respectively. 38-39. 40-41. A featurette about the making of the film was released on November 21, 2022. 42. The second and final trailer for the film and its theatrical release poster were released on November 28, 2022. 43. As Maggie Delapaz notes at combingzone.net, a brand new behind-the-scenes featurette, highlighting Chazelle's ensemble cast of A-list stars and familiar supporting actors, and also featuring commentary from the Oscar-nominated director as he talks about the challenge of handling this massive cast, was released on December 29, 2022. 44. Reception. Box office. Babylon grossed $15.4 million in the United States and Canada, and $48 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $63.4 million. 6/5. Deadline. Hollywood noted that with a combined production and promotion budget of around $160 million, Babylon would need to gross $250 million worldwide in order to break even. 45. The site ultimately calculated that the film lost the studio $87.4 million, when factoring together all expenses and revenues. 46. In the United States and Canada, Babylon was released alongside Whitney Houston, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and was initially projected to gross $12 to $15 million from 3,342 theaters over its 4-day opening weekend. 47-48. The film made $1.5 million on its first day, including Thursday night previews, and went on to debut to just $3.5 million in its opening weekend, and a total of $5.3 million over the 4 days, finishing fourth at the box office. Deadline cited the general public's declining interest in prestige films, the threat of a triplemic surge in COVID-19 and flu cases, and the nationwide impact of Winter Storm Elliott as reasons for lower than expected theater attendance. For in its second weekend, the film made $2.6 million, a drop of 27.5%, finishing in fifth. 49. In Europe, the film took $3.3 million on its opening weekend in France and $1.6 million, £1.3 million, in the United Kingdom, coming second and third respectively at the box office. 50. Critical response. Despite the film's polarizing response, Justin Hurwitz's score was praised by critics as one of the film's strengths, and earned him numerous accolades, including the Golden Globe Award for Best Original Score and a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Original Score. According to IndieWire and The Hollywood Reporter, as well as the opinion of Chazelle himself, response to the film was polarized. 51-52. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, Babylon holds an approval rating of 57% based on 363 reviews, with an average rating of 6.4/10. The site's critics' consensus reads, "Babylon's overwhelming muchness is exhausting, but much like the industry it honors, its well-acted, well-crafted glitz and glamour can often be an effective distraction." 53. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 61 out of 100, based on 63 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 54 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C+ on an A+ to F scale, while Post-Track reported 74% of audience members gave the film a positive score, with 47% saying they would definitely recommend it. 4. In his review for the San Francisco Chronicle, Mick LaSalle praised Chazelle's ambition and direction, writing that Babylon is what movie love really looks like. 55. THR's David Rooney described it as a syncopated concentration of hedonistic revelry, praising the cast performances, score, cinematography, costume, and production design, but criticizing the screenplay and direction, ultimately concluding it's hard to imagine the overstuffed yet insubstantial Babylon finding its way into many screen classic montages. 56. Conversely, Pete Hammond of Deadline Hollywood wrote that it is guaranteed to be a movie that will stay in your head, commending the direction, production design, and performances. 57. In his review for The Guardian, Peter Bradshaw assigned the film 3 stars out of 5, applauding the performances of Robbie and Pitt for elevating a story in no hurry to engage with the true-life nastiness of its era. 58. Writing for Vanity Fair, Richard Lawson concurred with Bradshaw's sentiment, stating, "These are little islands in a sea of mannered chaos, but it begins to feel, as Babylon stretches out across 3 hours and 8 minutes, that Chazelle has no clear idea where all of this is going." 59. In a scathing review for Time, Stephanie Zacharek highlighted Jun Li's performance, but criticized Chazelle's screenplay and direction, summarizing, "Babylon is a manic sprawl that only pretends to celebrate cinema. It's really about prurience, dumb sensation, self-congratulation and willful ignorance of history." 60. In his review for The Ringer, Adam Naiman described Babylon as a nauseous, high-calorie sugar rush of a movie that not only wants to have its cake and eat it too, but also to puke it up, smear it around, and cram it in the viewer's face. While praising Chazelle's direction and ambition, Naiman wrote that the film was a deliberately designed career killer for the director. 61. Writing less enthusiastically about the film in Variety, Peter DeBrugge stated that Babylon presents itself as the apotheosis of all that has come before, the ne+ultra of the medium's own potential, and indeed, it's an experience that won't be easily topped, in this or any year. But that doesn't make it great or even particularly coherent. 62. Richard Brody of The New Yorker praised Chazelle's storytelling and characters, but criticized other aspects of his screenplay, ultimately concluding, artistically, what Babylon adds to the classic Hollywood that it celebrates is sex and nudity, drugs and violence, a more diverse cast, and a batch of kitchen sink chaos that replaces the whys and wherefores of coherent thought with the exhortation to buy a ticket, cast one's eyes up to the screen, and worship in the dark. 63. John Mulderick of the Catholic Review says, "Along the way, Robbie effervesces, Pitt charms and Calva smolders and endures. Yet Chazelle's depiction of Tinseltown's behind-the-scenes decadence takes needless explicitness to the point of obscenity. He repeatedly references, Singin' in the Rain, which unfolds in the same place and time. But comparisons with that beloved classic only highlight the ugliness of his own portrayal of human debasement." 64. Re-evaluation. Despite the polarizing response, later critical and public re-evaluation has tended to focus more on the film's strengths while deeming it as a misunderstood masterpiece. Author Stephen King praised the film, calling it utterly brilliant, extravagant, over-the-top, hilarious, thought-provoking and one of those movies that reviews badly and is acclaimed as a classic in 20 years. 65. In August 2023, IndieWire ranked the film's score at number 15 on its list of the 40 best movie scores of the 21st century, Writing filled with booming trumpets and epic saxophone solos, it's a truly epic score, perfectly fitting the changing world of 20s and 30s Los Angeles perfectly. But it's the way the score builds upon its motifs and elements from song to song, that makes it special. 66. In June 2024, Collider ranked it number 30 on its list of the 30 best movies of the 2020s so far, with Jeremy Irkwer writing it's another movie of his Chazelle about passion, a desire for greatness, and the ups and downs of pursuing one's dreams, only this time the scope is epic, with such an approach taken to investigating Hollywood in the 1920s and 1930s, instead of just one or two people, like his smaller/more personal movies. Babylon is dazzling from a technical perspective and has some of the best music composed for a movie in recent memory. It challenges, provokes, celebrates, and condemns all at once. It's overwhelming and messy, but history will likely be kind to it. 67. In June 2025, IndieWire ranked the film at number 97 on its list of the 100 best movies of the 2020s, so far. 68. In July 2025, it was one of the films voted for the Reader's Choice edition of the New York Times list of the 100 best movies of the 21st century, finishing at number 175. William Bradley Pitt, born December 18, 1963, is an American actor and film producer. In a film career spanning more than 30 years, Pitt has received numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards, 2 British Academy Film Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. Films in which he has appeared have grossed over $9.3 billion worldwide. 3. Pitt first gained recognition as a cowboy hitchhiker in the Ridley Scott road film Thelma and Louise, 1991. Pitt emerged as a star taking on leading man roles in films such as the drama A River Runs Through It, 1992, The Western Legends of the Fall, 1994, the horror film Interview with the Vampire, 1994, the crime thriller Seven, 1995, the cult film Fight Club, 1999, and the crime comedy Snatch, 2000. Pitt found greater commercial success starring in Steven Soderbergh's heist film Ocean's 11, 2001, and reprised his role in its sequels. He cemented his leading man status starring in blockbusters such as the historical epic Troy, 2004, the romantic crime film Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005, the horror World War Z, 2013, and the sports drama F1, 2025. Pitt won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for playing a stuntman in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019. He was Oscar nominated for his roles in the science fiction drama 12 Monkeys, 1995, the fantasy romance The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, and the sports drama Moneyball, 2011. He also starred in acclaimed films such as Babel, 2006, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, 2007, Burn After Reading, 2008, Inglourious Bastard, 2009, The Tree of Life, 2011, Fury, 2014, The Big Short, 2015, and Ad Astra, 2019. In 2001, Pitt co-founded the production company Plan B Entertainment. As a producer, he won the Academy Award for Best Picture for 12 Years a Slave, 2013, and was nominated for Moneyball, 2011, and The Big Short, 2015. One of the most influential celebrities, Pitt appeared on Forbes' annual Celebrity 100 list from 2006 to 2008, and the Time 100 list in 2007. Regarded as a sex symbol, Pitt was named People's Sexiest Man Alive in 1995 and 2000. Pitt's relationships have also been subject to widespread media attention, particularly his marriages to actresses Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie, the latter of whom he shares 6 children with. Early life. William Bradley Pitt was born on December 18, 1963, in Shawnee, Oklahoma, to William Alvin Pitt, the proprietor of a trucking company, and Jane Etta, née Hill House, 1940 to 2025, 5-6, a school counselor. 7. The family soon moved to Springfield, Missouri, where he lived together with his younger siblings, Doug Pitt, born 1966, and Julie Neal, née Pitt, born 1969. 8. Born into a conservative Christian household. 9-10 He was raised as Southern Baptist and later oscillated between agnosticism and atheism. 11. He later reconciled his belief in spirituality. 12. Pitt has described Springfield as Mark Twain country, Jesse James country, having grown up with a lot of hills, a lot of lakes. 13. Pitt attended Kickapoo High School, where he was a member of the golf, swimming, and tennis teams. 14. He participated in the school's key and forensics clubs, in school debates, and in musicals. 15. Following his graduation from high school, Pitt enrolled in the University of Missouri in 1982, majoring in journalism with a focus on advertising. 16. As graduation approached, Pitt did not feel ready to settle down. He loved films, a portal into different worlds for me, and, since films were not made in Missouri, he decided to go to where they were made. 17. 18. 2 weeks short of completing the coursework for a degree, Pitt left the university and moved to Los Angeles, where he took acting lessons and worked odd jobs. 17. He has named Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, and Mickey Rourke as his early acting heroes. 19. Career. Early work, 1987 to 1993. While struggling to establish himself in Los Angeles, Pitt took lessons from acting coach Roy London. 15-20 His acting career began in 1987, with uncredited parts in the films No Way Out, 1987, No Man's Land, 1987, and Less Than Zero, 1987. 15-21 In May 1987, he made his television debut in a 2-episode role on the NBC soap opera Another World. 22 In November of the same year, Pitt had a guest appearance on the CBS sitcom Trial and Error 23-24 and the ABC sitcom Growing Pains. 25 He appeared in 4 episodes of the CBS primetime series Dallas between December 1987 and February 1988 as Randy, the boyfriend of Jenna Wade's daughter Charlotte, played by Shailene McCall. 26 Later in 1988, Pitt made a guest appearance on the Fox police drama 21 Jump Street. 27 In the same year, the Yugoslavian, American co-production The Dark Side of the Sun, 1988, was his first leading film role, starring as a young American taken by his family to the Adriatic to find a remedy for a skin condition. The film was shelved at the outbreak of the Croatian War of Independence, and was not released until 1997. 15 Pitt made 2 motion picture appearances in 1989, the first in a supporting role in the comedy Happy Together, the second a featured role in the horror film Cutting Class, the first of Pitt's films to reach theaters. 25 He made guest appearances on television series Head of the Class, Freddy's Nightmares, 30-something, and, for a second time, Growing Pains. 28. Pitt was cast as Billy Canton, a drug addict who takes advantage of a young runaway, played by Juliette Lewis, in the 1990 NBC television movie Too Young to Die, the story of an abused teenager sentenced to death for a murder. Ken Tucker of Entertainment Weekly wrote, Pitt is a magnificent slimeball as her hoodie boyfriend, looking and sounding like a malevolent John Cougar Mellencamp. He's really scary. 29. The same year, Pitt co-starred in 6 episodes of the short-lived Fox drama Glory Days and took a supporting role in the HBO television film The Image. 30. His next appearance came in the 1991 film Across the Tracks. Pitt portrayed Joe Maloney, a high school runner with a criminal brother, played by Ricky Schroeder. 31. The same year he featured in a Levi's Jeans TV commercial based around the song 20th Century Boy which played in the background. 32. After years of supporting roles in film and frequent television guest appearances, Pitt attracted wider recognition in his supporting role in Ridley Scott's 1991 road film Thelma and Louise. 30. He played J.D., a small-time criminal who befriends Thelma, Geena Davis. His love scene with Davis has been cited as the event that defined Pitt as a sex symbol. 25. 33. After Thelma and Louise, Pitt starred in the 1991 film Johnny Suede, a low-budget picture about an aspiring rock star. 34. And the 1992 live-action/animated fantasy film Cool World. 25. Although neither furthered his career, having poor reviews and box office performance. 35. 36. Pitt took on the role of Paul McLean in the 1992 biographical film A River Runs Through It, directed by Robert Redford. 37. His portrayal of the character was described by People's Janet Mock as a career-making performance. 38. Proving that Pitt could be more than a cowboy hat hunk. 39. He has admitted to feeling under pressure when making the film 8 and thought it was one of his weakest performances. It's so weird that it ended up being the one that I got the most attention for. 8. Pitt believed that he benefited from working with such a talented cast and crew. He compared working with Redford to playing tennis with a superior player, saying when you play with somebody better than you, your game gets better. 38. 39. In 1993, Pitt reunited with Juliette Lewis for the road film California. He played Early Grace, a serial killer and the abusive husband of Lewis' character, in a performance described by Peter Travers of Rolling Stone as outstanding, all boyish charm and then a snort that exudes pure menace. 40. Pitt also garnered attention for a brief appearance in the cult hit True Romance as a stoner named Floyd, providing comic relief to the action film. 41. He capped the year by winning a Showist Award for Male Star of Tomorrow. 42. Breakthrough, 1994 to 1998. Pitt with Lozang Thondon in Argentina on the set of 7 Years in Tibet in 1997. In 1994, Pitt portrayed the vampire Louis de Pointe du Lac in the horror film Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles, based on Anne Rice's 1976 novel of the same name. 43. He was part of an ensemble cast that included Tom Cruise, Kirsten Dunst, Christian Slater, and Antonio Banderas. 43. Despite his winning 2 MTV Movie Awards at the 1995 ceremony. 44. His performance was poorly received. According to the Dallas Observer, Brad Pitt is a large part of the problem in the film. When directors play up his cocky, hunkish, folksy side, he's a joy to watch. But there's nothing about him that suggests inner torment or even self-awareness, which makes him a boring Louis. 45. Following the release of Interview with the Vampire, Pitt starred in Legends of the Fall, 1994, 46, based on a novel by the same name by Jim Harrison, set in the American West during the first 4 decades of the 20th century. Portraying Tristan Ludlow, son of Colonel William Ludlow, Anthony Hopkins, a Cornish immigrant. 47. Pitt received his first Golden Globe Award nomination, in the Best Actor category. 48. Aidan Quinn and Henry Thomas co-starred as Tristan's brothers. Although the film's reception was mixed. 49. Many film critics praised Pitt's performance. Janet Maslin of the New York Times said, Pitt's diffident mix of acting and attitude works to such heartthrob perfection, it's a shame the film's superficiality gets in his way. 50. The Deseret News predicted that Legends of the Fall would solidify Pitt's reputation as a lead actor. 51. In 1995, Pitt starred alongside Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey in the crime thriller Seven, playing a detective on the trail of a serial killer who preys on people he considers guilty of the 7 deadly sins. 52. Pitt called it a great movie and declared the part would expand his acting horizons. 53. He expressed his intent to move on from this pretty boy thing, and play someone with flaws. 54. His performance was critically well received, with Variety saying that it was screen acting at its best, further remarking on Pitt's ability to turn in a determined, energetic, creditable job as the detective. 55. Seven earned $327 million at the international box office. 35. Following the success of Seven, Pitt played psychotic anarchist Jeffrey Goins in Terry Gilliam's 1995 science fiction film 12 Monkeys. The movie received predominantly positive reviews, with Pitt praised in particular. Janet Maslin of the New York Times called 12 Monkeys fierce and disturbing and remarked on Pitt's startlingly frenzied performance, concluding that he electrifies Jeffrey with a weird magnetism that becomes important later in the film. 56. He won a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor for the film 48 and received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. 57. The following year, he appeared in the legal drama Sleepers, 1996, based on Lorenzo Carcaterra's novel of the same name. 58. The film received mixed reviews. 59. In the 1997 film The Devil's Own, Pitt starred, opposite Harrison Ford, as Irish Republican Army terrorist Rory Devaney, 60, a role for which he was required to learn an Irish accent. 61. Critical opinion was divided on his accent. Pitt finds the right tone of moral ambiguity, but at times his Irish brogue is too convincing, it's hard to understand what he's saying, wrote the San Francisco Chronicle. 62. The Charleston Gazette opined that it had favored Pitt's accent over the movie. 63. The Devil's Own grossed $140 million worldwide. 35. Later that year, he led as Austrian mountaineer Heinrich Harrer in the Jean-Jacques Annaudit film 7 Years in Tibet. 64. Pitt trained for months for the role, which demanded significant mountain climbing and trekking practice, including rock climbing in California and the European Alps with his co-star David Thewlis. 65. Pitt had the lead role in 1998's fantasy romance film Meet Joe Black. He portrayed a personification of death inhabiting the body of a young man to learn what it is like to be human. 66. The film received mixed reviews, and many were critical of Pitt's performance. According to Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle, Pitt was unable to make an audience believe that he knows all the mysteries of death and eternity. 67. Roger Ebert remarked, "Pitt is a fine actor, but this performance is a miscalculation." 68. Rise to prominence, 1999 to 2003. In 1999, Pitt portrayed Tyler Durden in Fight Club 69-7, a film adaptation of Chuck Palahniuk's novel of the same name, directed by David Fincher. 70. Pitt prepared for the part with lessons in boxing, taekwondo, and grappling. 71. To look the part, Pitt consented to the removal of pieces of his front teeth which were restored when filming ended. 72. While promoting Fight Club, Pitt said that the film explored not taking one's aggressions out on someone else but to have an experience, take a punch more and see how you come out on the other end. 73. Fight Club premiered at the 1999 Venice International Film Festival. 74. Despite divided critical opinion on the film as a whole, 75-76 Pitt's performance was widely praised. Paul Clinton of CNN noted the risky yet successful nature of the film. 77. While Variety remarked upon Pitt's ability to be cool, charismatic and more dynamically physical, perhaps than his breakthrough role in Thelma and Louise. 78. In spite of a worse than expected box office performance, Fight Club became a cult classic after its DVD release in 2000. 79. Pitt in 2001. Pitt was cast as an Irish traveller boxer with a barely intelligible accent in Guy Ritchie's 2000 gangster film Snatch. 80. Several reviewers were critical of Snatch, however, most praised Pitt. 81. Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle said Pitt was ideally cast as an Irishman whose accent is so thick even Brits can't understand him, going on to say that, before Snatch, Pitt had been shackled by roles that called for brooding introspection, but recently he has found his calling in black comic outrageousness and flashy extroversion. 82. While Amy Taubin of The Village Voice claimed that Pitt gets maximum comic mileage out of a one-joke role. 83. The following year Pitt starred opposite Julia Roberts in the romantic comedy The Mexican. 84. A film that garnered a range of reviews. 85. But enjoyed box office success. 35. Pitt's next role, in 2001's $143 million grossing Cold War thriller Spy Game 35 was as Tom Bishop, an operative of the CIA's Special Activities Division, mentored by Robert Redford's character. 86 Mark Holcomb of Salon.com enjoyed the film, although he noted that neither Pitt nor Redford provided much of an emotional connection for the audience. 87. On November 22, 2001, Pitt made a guest appearance in the 8th season of the television series Friends, playing a man with a grudge against Rachel Green, played by Jennifer Aniston, to whom Pitt was married at the time. 88 For this performance he was nominated for an Emmy Award in the category of Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. 89 In December 2001, Pitt played Rusty Ryan in the heist film Ocean's 11, a remake of the 1960 Rat Pack original. He joined an ensemble cast including George Clooney, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, and Julia Roberts. 90 Well received by critics, Ocean's 11 was highly successful at the box office, earning $450 million worldwide. 35. Pitt appeared in 2 episodes of MTV's reality series Jackass in February 2002, first running through the streets of Los Angeles with several cast members in gorilla suits 91 and in a subsequent episode participating in his own staged abduction. 92 In the same year, Pitt had a cameo role in George Clooney's directorial debut Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. 93 He took on his first voice acting roles in 2003, speaking as the titular character of the DreamWorks animated film Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas 94 and playing Boomhauer's brother, Patch, in an episode of the animated television series King of the Hill. 95. Worldwide recognition, 2004 to 2008. Pitt had 2 major film roles in 2004, starring as Achilles in Troy, and reprising his role, Rusty Ryan, in the sequel Ocean's 12. He spent 6 months sword training before the filming of Troy, based on the Iliad. 96 An on-set injury to his Achilles tendon delayed production on the picture for several weeks. 97 Stephen Hunter of the Washington Post stated that Pitt excelled at such a demanding role. 98 Troy was the first film produced by Plan B Entertainment, a film production company he had founded 2 years earlier with Jennifer Aniston and Brad Gray, CEO of Paramount Pictures. 99 Ocean's 12 earned $362 million worldwide. 35 And Pitt and Clooney's dynamic was described by CNN's Paul Clinton as the best male chemistry since Paul Newman and Robert Redford. 100. In 2005, Pitt starred as John Smith in the Doug Liman-directed action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith, in which a bored married couple discover that each is an assassin for a competing agency. The feature received reasonable reviews but was generally lauded for the chemistry between Pitt and Angelina Jolie, who played his character's wife Jane Smith. The Star Tribune noted that while the story feels haphazard, the movie gets by on gregarious charm, galloping energy, and the star's thermonuclear screen chemistry. 101 Mr. and Mrs. Smith earned $478 million worldwide, making it one of the biggest hits of 2005. 102. Pitt at the premiere of Burn After Reading in 2008. For his next film, Pitt starred opposite Cate Blanchett in Alejandro González Inarritu's multi-narrative drama Babel, 2006. 103 Pitt's performance was critically well received, and the Seattle Post-Intelligencer said that he was credible and gave the film visibility. 104 Pitt later said he regarded taking the part as one of the best decisions of his career. 105 The film was screened at a special presentation at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival 106 and was later featured at the 2006 Toronto International Film Festival. 107 Babel received 7 Academy and Golden Globe Award nominations, winning the Best Drama Golden Globe, and earned Pitt a nomination for the Best Supporting Actor Golden Globe. 48 That same year, Pitt's company Plan B Entertainment produced The Departed, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Pitt was credited on screen as a producer, however, only Graham King was ruled eligible for the Oscar win. 108. Reprising his role as Rusty Ryan in a third picture, Pitt starred in 2007's Ocean's 13. 109. While less lucrative than the first two films, this sequel earned $311 million at the international box office. 35. Pitt's next film role was as American outlaw Jesse James in the 2007 Western drama The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, adapted from Ron Hansen's 1983 novel of the same name. 110. Directed by Andrew Dominic and produced by Pitt's company Plan B Entertainment, the film premiered at the 2007 Venice Film Festival 111 with Pitt playing a scary and charismatic role, according to Louis Bale of Film Journal International 112, and earning Pitt the Volpe Cup Award for Best Actor at the 64th Venice International Film Festival. 113. He eventually collected the award 1 year later at the 2008 festival. 114. As of January 2019, it was his own favorite of his films. 115. Pitt's next appearance was in the 2008 black comedy Burn After Reading, his first collaboration with the Coen brothers. The film received a positive reception from critics, with The Guardian calling it a tightly wound, slickly plotted spy comedy, 116 noting that Pitt's performance was one of the funniest. 116. He was later cast as Benjamin Button, the lead in David Fincher's 2008 film The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, a loosely adapted version of a 1921 short story by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The story follows a man who is born an octogenarian and ages in reverse. 117. With Pitt's sensitive performance making Benjamin Button a timeless masterpiece, according to Michael Srigow of the Baltimore Sun. 118. The performance earned Pitt his first Screen Actors Guild Award nomination. 119. As well as a fourth Golden Globe and second Academy Award nomination. 48. All in the category for Best Actor. The film received 13 Academy Award nominations, and grossed $329 million at the box office worldwide. 35. Established actor, 2009, present. A Caucasian male has long brown hair pushed back and a short brown beard. He wears a black suit jacket and a white shirt. Pitt at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival. Pitt's next leading role came in 2009 with the Quentin Tarantino-directed war film Inglourious Bastard, which premiered at the 2009 Cannes Film Festival. 120. Pitt played Lieutenant Aldo Raine, an American resistance fighter battling Nazis in German-occupied France. 121. The film was a box office hit, taking $311 million worldwide. 35. And garnered generally favorable reviews. 122. The film received multiple awards and nominations, including 8 Academy Award nominations and 7 MTV Movie Award nominations, including Best Male Performance for Pitt. 123. 124. He next voiced the superhero character Metro Man in the 2010 animated feature Megamind. 125. Pitt produced and appeared in Terrence Malick's experimental drama The Tree of Life, co-starring Sean Penn, which won the Palme d'Or at the 2011 Cannes Film Festival. 126. In a performance that attracted strong praise, he portrayed the Oakland Athletics general manager Billy Beane in the drama Moneyball, which is based on the 2003 book of the same name written by Michael Lewis. 127. Moneyball received 6 Academy Award nominations including Best Picture and Best Actor for Pitt. 128. His next role was as mob hitman Jackie Cogan in Andrew Dominic's 2012 Killing Them Softly, based on the novel Cogan's Trade by George V. Higgins. 129. In 2013, Pitt starred in World War Z, a thriller about a zombie apocalypse, based on Max Brooks's novel of the same name. Pitt also produced the film. 130. World War Z grossed $540 million at the box office worldwide. 35. Becoming Pitt's then highest grossing picture, until it was overtaken by F1 in 2025, which grossed nearly $600 million worldwide. 131. Next in 2013, he produced, and played a small role in 12 Years a Slave, a historical drama based on the autobiography of Solomon Northup. 132 The film received critical acclaim 133 and was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, winning 3, including Best Picture. 134 Also in 2013, Pitt had a supporting role in Ridley Scott's The Counselor. 135 Plan B Entertainment landed its first television series on the 2013 to 2014 schedule, as their joint venture with ABC Studios, the sci-fi/fantasy drama Resurrection, was picked up by ABC. 136. Pitt at the Japan premiere of War Machine in 2017. Pitt starred in Fury, a World War II film directed and written by David Ayer, and co-starring Shia LaBeouf, Logan Lerman, John Bernthal, Michael Pena, and Jason Isaacs. 137 138 139 The film was released on October 17, 2014. 137 By the end of its run, Fury proved to be a commercial and critical success. It grossed more than $211 million worldwide 35 and received highly positive reviews from critics. 140 In 2015, Pitt starred opposite his wife, Joan Li, in her third directorial effort, By the Sea, a romantic drama about a marriage in crisis, based on her screenplay. The film was their first collaboration since 2005's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Pitt's next role came with the biographical comedy drama The Big Short, which he also produced and also co-starred alongside Christian Bale, Steve Carell, and Ryan Gosling. The film was a commercial and critical success. It went on to gross over $102 million worldwide 141 and received positive reviews from critics. 142 143 The film was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, earning Pitt his third Academy Award nomination as producer. In 2016, Pitt starred in Robert Zemeckis' romantic thriller Allied, in which he plays an assassin who falls in love with a French spy, played by Marion Cotillard, during a mission to kill a German official in World War II. 144 145 In 2017, he starred in the Netflix satirical war comedy War Machine 146, which he also produced. 147 Pitt played a recurring role as a weatherman on the late-night talk show The Jim Jeffries Show throughout 2017. 148. A 2017 sequel to World War Z was announced in 2016. 149 Before the film was briefly delayed, then confirmed to be directed by David Fincher, and then ultimately shelved due to budget issues. 150 151 Pitt starred as Clip Booth, a stunt double, opposite Leonardo DiCaprio, in Quentin Tarantino's 2019 film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, reuniting with DiCaprio after The Departed, which Pitt produced and DiCaprio starred in. 152 For his performance in the film, he received awards for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards, Golden Globe Awards, BAFTA Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards, and Critics' Choice Movie Awards. 153 This is the second Academy Award for Brad Pitt, his first that he received for acting. 154 In 2019, he also starred in James Gray's deep space epic Ad Astra, in which he played Roy McBride, a space engineer searching the galaxy for his father. 155 Pitt's performance was praised as one of his career best. 156 157 Delivering a performance that weaponizes passivity into a lethal form of self-defense. 158 In 2020, Pitt portrayed Dr. Anthony Fauci in The Cold Open on Saturday Night Live, earning him a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series nomination. 159 160 In 2021, Pitt entered the recording business by creating a company with French record producer Damien Quintard. Set in Pitt's Chateau Miraval in south of France, Miraval Studios reopened in 2022 after 2 decades of inactivity. The previous version of the studio was one of the most iconic studios in the world, producing the records for Pink Floyd, The Cranberries, AC/DC, Sada, and Muse, among others. 161 In 2022, Pitt starred in Bullet Train, directed by David Leitch. 162 And reunited with his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood co-star Margot Robbie in Babylon, directed by Damien Chazelle. 163 On January 5, 2022, he signed on to star in and produce a racing film on Formula One titled F1, directed by Joseph Kosinski. 164 For which he earned $30 million. 165 He redeemed with George Clooney in Wolves, a comedy thriller written and directed by John Watts, which was released in September 2024. 166 F1 quickly became Apple's biggest hit at the box office. 167 Acting credits and accolades. See also, Brad Pitt filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Brad Pitt. Over his career, Pitt has received numerous awards including 2 Academy Awards, as a producer and actor, 2 BAFTA Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Pitt has been recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for the following performances: 68th Academy Awards, 1995 Best Supporting Actor, nomination, 12 Monkeys. 81st Academy Awards, 2008 Best Actor, nomination, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. 84th Academy Awards, 2011 Best Actor, nomination, Moneyball. 92nd Academy Awards, 2019 Best Supporting Actor, win, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Philanthropy and activism. Pitt visited the University of Missouri campus in October 2004 to encourage students to vote in the 2004 U.S. presidential election. 168 In which he supported John Kerry. 168 169 Later in October, he publicly supported the principle of public funding for embryonic stem cell research. We have to make sure that we open up these avenues so that our best and our brightest can go find these cures that they believe they will find, he said. 170 In support of this he endorsed Proposition 71, a California ballot initiative intended to provide state government funding for stem cell research. 171 Pitt at the Global Summit to End Sexual Violence in Conflict in 2014. Pitt supports One Campaign, an organization aimed at combating AIDS and poverty in the developing world. 172 173 He narrated the 2005 PBS public television series RX for Survival, a global health challenge, which discusses current global health issues. 174 The following year Pitt and Jolie flew to Haiti, where they visited a school supported by YIL Haiti, a charity founded by Haitian-born hip-hop musician Wyclef Jean. 175 In May 2007, Pitt and Jolie donated $1 million to 3 organizations in Chad and Sudan dedicated to those affected by the crisis in the Darfur region. 176 Along with Clooney, Damon, Don Cheadle, David Pressman, and Jerry Weintraub, Pitt is one of the founders of Not on Our Watch, an organization that focuses global attention on stopping mass atrocities. 177 Pitt has a sustained interest in architecture. 178 Even taking time away from film to study computer-aided design at the Los Angeles offices of renowned architect Frank Gehry. 179 He narrated E2 Design, a PBS television series focused on worldwide efforts to build environmentally friendly structures through sustainable architecture and design. 180 In 2000, he co-authored an architectural book on the Blacker House with the architects Thomas A. Heinz and Randall Makinson. 181 In 2006, he founded the Make It Right Foundation, organizing housing professionals in New Orleans to finance and construct 150 sustainable, affordable new houses in New Orleans' 9th Ward following the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina. 182 183 The project involves 13 architectural firms and the environmental organization Global Green USA, with several of the firms donating their services. 185 Pitt and philanthropist Steve Bing have each committed $5 million in donations. 186 The first 6 homes were completed in October 2008. 187 And in September 2009 Pitt received an award in recognition of the project from the U.S. Green Building Council, a non-profit trade organization that promotes sustainability in how buildings are designed, built, and operated. 189 Pitt met with U.S. President Barack Obama and Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi in March 2009 to promote his concept of green housing as a national model and to discuss federal funding possibilities. 190. In September 2006, Pitt and Jun Li established a charitable organization, the Jun Li Pitt Foundation, to aid humanitarian causes around the world. 191 The foundation made initial donations of $1 million each to Global Action for Children and Doctors Without Borders. 192 Followed by an October 2006 donation of $100,000 to the Daniel Pearl Foundation, an organization created in memory of the late American journalist Daniel Pearl. 193 According to federal filings, Pitt and Jun Li invested $8.5 million into the foundation in 2006. It gave away $2.4 million in 2006, 194 and $3.4 million in 2007. 195 In June 2009, the Jun Li Pitt Foundation donated $1 million to a UN refugee agency to help Pakistanis displaced by fighting between troops and Taliban militants. 196 In January 2010, the foundation donated $1 million to Doctors Without Borders for emergency medical assistance to help victims of the Haiti earthquake. 197 198 Pitt is a supporter of same-sex marriage. 199 In an October 2006 interview with Esquire, Pitt said that he would marry Jun Li when everyone in America is legally able to marry. 200 In September 2008, he donated $100,000 to the campaign against California's 2008 ballot Proposition 8, an initiative to overturn the state Supreme Court decision that had legalized same-sex marriage. 201 In March 2012, Pitt was featured in a performance of Dustin Lance Black's play, 8, a staged reenactment of the federal trial that overturned California's Prop 8 ban on same-sex marriage, as Judge Vaughn Walker. 202 In September 2012, Pitt reaffirmed his support for Obama, saying, "I am an Obama supporter and I'm backing his U.S. election campaign." 203 In October 2020, he narrated an advertisement for Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. 204 Personal life. Relationships and marriages. A Caucasian man and woman in the foreground of the image, while others are visible behind them. The woman has brown hair, which is tied back. The man has his dark brown hair parted. He is wearing a black suit and bow tie with a white shirt. Pitt with his then-partner Angelina Jolie at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival. From the late 1980s to early 1990s, Pitt was romantically involved with several of his co-stars, including Shailene McCall, Dallas, 205 Robin Givens, Head of the Class, 206 Jill Scoelen, Cutting Class, 206 Gina Davis, Thelma and Louise, 207 and Juliette Lewis, Too Young to Die, and California. 38 McCall and Lewis were 15 and 17 respectively when Pitt started dating them. 208-209 Subsequently, Pitt had a much publicized romance and engagement to his Seven co-star, Gwyneth Paltrow, whom he dated from 1994 to 1997. 206 Pitt met actress Jennifer Aniston in 1998, they married in a private wedding ceremony in Malibu on July 29, 2000. 210 In January 2005, Pitt and Aniston announced they had decided to separate. 2 months later, Aniston filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. 211 Pitt and Aniston's divorce was finalized by the Los Angeles Superior Court on October 2, 2005. 211 Despite media reports that Pitt and Aniston had an acrimonious relationship, Pitt said in a February 2009 interview that he and Aniston check in with each other, adding that they were both big parts of each other's lives. 212. During Pitt's divorce proceedings, his involvement with his Mr. and Mrs. Smith co-star Angelina Jolie attracted media attention. Jolie and Pitt stated that they fell in love on the set 213-214 and that there was no infidelity. 213 In April 2005, 1 month after Aniston filed for divorce, a set of paparazzi photographs emerged showing Pitt, Jolie, and her son Maddox at a beach in Kenya. The press interpreted the pictures as evidence of a relationship between Pitt and Jolie. Throughout 2005, the two were seen together with increasing frequency, and the entertainment media dubbed the couple Brangelina. 215 On January 11, 2006, Jolie confirmed to People that she was pregnant with Pitt's child, thereby publicly acknowledging their relationship for the first time. 216 Pitt and Jolie announced their engagement in April 2012 after 7 years together. 217 They were legally married on August 14, 2014, and had their wedding in a private ceremony at the Château Miraval, France, on August 23, 2014. 218 On September 19, 2016, Jolie filed for divorce from Pitt, citing irreconcilable differences. 219 On April 12, 2019, the divorce became legal. 222 After Pitt sued Jolie for selling her share of a winery they owned to a third party, she filed a countersuit, in which she alleged that he physically and verbally abused her and their children during a plane flight in 2016. 221. In 2022, he began dating Ines de Ramon, b. 1992, a jewelry executive and the ex-wife of actor Paul Wesley. 222. Children. In July 2005, Pitt accompanied Jolie to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where she adopted her second child, a girl named Zahara. 223-224 On December 3, 2005, Pitt was in the process of becoming the adoptive father of Jolie's daughter, and Jolie's first adopted child, a boy named Maddox. 225 On January 19, 2006, a California judge granted Jolie's request to change the children's surnames from Jolie to Jolie Pitt. 226 The adoptions were finalized soon after. 227. Jolie gave birth to their daughter Shiloh in Swakopmund, Namibia, on May 27, 2006. Pitt confirmed that she would qualify for a Namibian passport. 228 The couple sold the first pictures of their daughter through the distributor Getty Images. The North American rights were purchased by People for over $4.1 million, while Hello obtained the British rights for approximately $3.5 million. The proceeds from the sale were donated to charities serving African children. 229 Madame Tussauds in New York unveiled a wax figure of the 2-month-old. It marked the first time an infant had been honored with a statue in the museum. 230. On March 15, 2007, Jolie adopted a 3-year-old boy, Pax, from an orphanage in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. 231 Pitt adopted the boy in the United States on February 21, 2008. 232 At the Cannes Film Festival in May 2008, Jolie confirmed that she was expecting twins. 233 She gave birth to son and daughter, Knox and Vivian, on July 12, 2008, in Nice, France. 234 The rights for the first images of the twins were jointly sold to People and Hello for $14 million, the most expensive celebrity pictures ever taken. 236 The couple donated the proceeds to the Jolie Pitt Foundation. 237 Since Jolie filed for divorce from Pitt on September 19, 2016, they have been embroiled in a custody battle over their children. Jolie had full custody until May 2021 when Pitt was granted joint custody, over 4.5 years after proceedings began. 238 However, in July, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge John W. Outerkirk was removed from the case due to concerns over his impartiality as he did not sufficiently disclose business relationships with Pitt's lawyers. This resulted in the custody arrangement reverting to a previous November 2018 agreement where Jolie has primary physical custody while Pitt has custodial time with their minor children. 240 In 2025, Pitt's 18-year-old second eldest daughter with Jolie changed her name legally from Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt to Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie, She Jolie for short. 241 Zahara Marley Jolie and Vivienne Marceline Jolie are also reported to have dropped Pitt from the surnames they use, but it is not known if this was changed in law. 242 Abuse allegation. In September 2016, the FBI and the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services investigated Pitt for child abuse following an incident on a plane, where Pitt was accused by an anonymous person of being verbally abusive and physical towards one of his children. 243 Pitt was not criminally charged for the incident by the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, or by the FBI. 244 In 2022, Jolie filed a countersuit against Pitt during a legal battle over their formerly co-owned vineyard. Jolie's lawyers stated that during negotiations, Pitt had asked Jolie to sign a non-disclosure agreement prohibiting her from speaking outside of court about his abuse of her and their children. 221 Her complaint stated that he grabbed and shook her during the plane ride, strangled one of their children, and struck another in the face, among other allegations. 221 On the release of Pitt's 2025 film F1 to much praise from most sources, Angelica Jade Bastien wrote an article published in Vulture criticizing his rehabilitation, saying it isn't that people don't believe what happened to Jolie on that plane, they just don't care. 245 Alcohol and drug use. In September 2016, Pitt got sober and began attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. 246 In December 2019, he wrote an article for Interview in which he talked with his Legends of the Fall and Meet Joe Black co-star and fellow recovering alcoholic Anthony Hopkins about their experiences with addiction and recovery. 247 Pitt credits fellow actor Bradley Cooper with helping him in his sobriety. 248 Pitt has admitted to using cannabis in the late 1990s as a way to deal with his increasing fame. 249 250 According to Pitt, I was hiding out from the celebrity thing, I was smoking way too much dope, I was sitting on the couch and just turning into a donut. 249 250 251 He reduced his cannabis use and focused on his work after a trip to Morocco, where he witnessed extreme poverty and suffering. 249 250 Face blindness. In 2022, Pitt said that he had struggled for years to recognize people's faces due to prosopagnosia, face blindness, 252 for which he has not been formally diagnosed. 252 253 In a 2013 interview, he said that his inability to recognize people's faces had become so severe that he often wanted to stay home. 254 Artworks. Pitt has an interest in art, learned pottery 255 and has created sculptures. 9 of his sculptures were exhibited together with works by musician Nick Cave and artist Thomas Hausigo at the Sarah Hilden Art Museum in Tampere, Finland, in 2022 and 2023. 256 257 Public image. A male with dyed blonde hair is being interviewed. He is wearing a black suit and tie, with a white shirt, and is standing on a red carpet. People standing behind barricades are visible in the background, while microphones are visible in the foreground. Pitt at the 2007 Palm Springs International Film Festival. Pitt has been frequently cited as one of the most attractive actors of all time and has been described as a sex symbol by many sources, including Empire, who named him one of the 25 sexiest stars in film history in 1995. 258 259 the same year, he was named People's Sexiest Man Alive, an accolade he received again in 2000. 258 260 Pitt appeared on Forbes' annual Celebrity 100 list of the 100 most powerful celebrities from 2006 to 2008, placing at numbers 20, 5, and 10, respectively. 261 262 263 In 2007, he appeared on the Time 100 list, a compilation of the 100 most influential people in the world, as selected annually by Time magazine. 264 The magazine credited Pitt for using his star power to get people to look to where cameras don't usually catch. 264 He was again included on the Time 100 in 2009, this time in the Builders and Titans list. 265 As of 2025, Pitt's films have grossed over $6.9 billion worldwide, according to the numbers. 266. Beginning in 2005, Pitt's relationship with Angelina Jolie became one of the world's most reported celebrity stories. After Jolie was confirmed to be pregnant in early 2006, the intense media hype surrounding the couple reached what Reuters, in a story titled The Brangelina Fever, called the point of insanity. 267 To avoid media attention, the couple flew to Namibia for the birth of their daughter, which was described by a paparazzi blog as the most anticipated baby since Jesus Christ. 268. Similarly, intense media interest greeted the announcement of Jolie's second pregnancy 2 years later. For the 2 weeks Jolie spent in a seaside hospital in Nice, reporters and photographers camped outside on the promenade to report on the birth. 269. In a 2006 global industry survey by AC Nielsen in 42 international markets, Pitt, together with Jolie, were found to be the favorite celebrity endorsers for brands and products worldwide. 270 Pitt has appeared in several television commercials. For the US market, he starred in a Heineken commercial aired during the 2005 Super Bowl. It was directed by David Fincher, who had directed Pitt in Seven and Fight Club. 271 other commercial appearances came in television spots including Acura Integra, in which he was featured opposite Russian model Tatiana Soroko. 272 as well as SoftBank, and Edwin Jeans. 273 On June 2, 2015, the Minor Planet 29132 Brad Pitt was named in his honor. Margot Elise Robbie, /Margot Robbie, born July 2, 1990, is an Australian actress and producer. Known for her work in both blockbuster and independent films, her accolades include nominations for 3 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globe Awards and 6 BAFTA Awards. Time named Robbie one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2017, and Forbes named her the world's highest paid actress in 2023. Born and raised in Queensland, Robbie began her career in 2008 on the television series Neighbours, on which she was a regular until 2011. After moving to the United States, she led the television series Pan Am, 2011 to 2012, and had her breakthrough in 2013 with Martin Scorsese's black comedy film The Wolf of Wall Street. She achieved wider recognition with starring roles as Jane Porter in The Legend of Tarzan, 2016, and as Harley Quinn in the DC Extended Universe films beginning with Suicide Squad, 2016. Robbie received critical acclaim and a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress for her portrayal of figure skater Tonya Harding in the biopic I, Tonya, 2017. This acclaim continued for her performances as Queen Elizabeth I in Mary Queen of Scots, 2018, Sharon Tate in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, and a Fox News employee in Bombshell, 2019. The last of these earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Robbie has since starred as an aspiring actress in the period film Babylon, 2022, and the titular fashion doll in the fantasy comedy Barbie, 2023, which emerged as her highest-grossing release and, as its producer, earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Picture. Robbie and her husband, filmmaker Tom Ackerley, co-founded the production company Lucky Chap Entertainment in 2014, under which they have produced several films, including I, Tanya, Promising Young Woman, 2020, Barbie, and Saltburn, 2023, as well as the Hulu series Dollface, 2019 to 2022, and the Netflix miniseries Made, 2021. Early life and education. Margot Elise Robbie was born on July 2, 1990 in Dalby, Queensland, to Doug Robbie, a former farm owner and sugarcane tycoon, and Sari Kessler, a physiotherapist. 1-2-3 She is the second youngest of four, older siblings Anya and Lachlan and younger brother Cameron. 4-5 Her parents separated when she was 5. 6 Robbie and her siblings were raised by their single mother and had minimal contact with their father. The family spent the majority of Robbie's upbringing on her grandparents' Currumbin Valley Farm 7 in the Gold Coast hinterland. 8-9 As a child, Robbie often put on shows at home. 10. Her mother enrolled her in a circus school, where she excelled in trapeze, in which she received a certificate at age 8. 11 In high school, Robbie studied drama at Somerset College. 12 As a teenager, she worked 3 jobs. She tended a bar, cleaned houses, and worked at Subway. 13-14 After graduation, with a few commercials and independent thriller films on her resume, Robbie relocated to Melbourne to begin acting professionally. 15. Career. Main articles, Margot Robbie filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Margot Robbie. 2008 to 2012, Early Work and Neighbors. Robbie at the 2011 Logie Awards. Robbie's first acting roles came when she was in high school. She starred in 2 low-budget independent thriller films, called Vigilante and ICU, both released years later. She described the experience of being on a film set as a dream come true. 16 She made her television debut in a 2008 guest role as Caitlin Brentford in the drama series City Homicide and followed this with a 2-episode arc in the children's television series The Elephant Princess, in which she starred alongside Liam Hemsworth. 17. With agent encouragement at the time and as Robbie recalled on the Graham Norton Show 18 she called Fremantle Media on a daily basis. One day, I got put through by accident to the casting director for Neighbours, and she said, "I'm in town working on something." The casting director asked how old she was, and she responded 17. She was told, "We're looking for exactly that, come in and audition." 18 For the television soap opera Neighbours. In June 2008, she began playing Donna Friedman, a role that was meant to be a guest character, but Robbie was promoted to the regular cast after she made her debut. 19 In her 3-year stint on the soap, she received 2 Logie Award nominations. 20. Shortly after arriving in America, Robbie landed the role of Laura Cameron, a newly trained flight attendant in the period drama series Pan Am, 2011. The series premiered to high ratings and positive reviews but was cancelled after 1 season due to falling ratings. 21-22. 2013 to 2015, Breakthrough. Robbie next appeared in Richard Curtis' romantic comedy About Time, 2013, co-starring Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams. It tells the story of a young man with the ability to time travel who tries to change his past in hopes of improving his future. To play Gleeson's unattainable teenage love interest, she adopted a British accent. 23. The film was a modest commercial success. 24. Robbie's breakthrough came the same year with the role of Naomi LaPaglia, the wife of protagonist Jordan Belfort, in Martin Scorsese's biographical black comedy The Wolf of Wall Street. In her audition for the role, Robbie improvised a slap on co-star Leonardo DiCaprio during a fight scene which ultimately won her the part. 25. The film and her performance received positive reviews. She was particularly praised for her on-screen Brooklyn accent. 26. Critic Sasha Stone wrote of Robbie's performance, "She's Scorsese's best blonde bombshell discovery since Kathy Moriarty in Raging Bull. Robbie is funny, hard, and kills every scene she's in." 27. The Wolf of Wall Street was a box office success, grossing $392 million worldwide, making it Scorsese's highest-grossing film to date. 28. Robbie was nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Breakthrough Performance and won the Empire Award for Best Newcomer. 29. Robbie at the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. She later said that the fame and attention the movie brought her led her to consider quitting acting, but her mother was philosophical about her profession and explained to her that it was probably too late to quit. She fully understood and stuck with it. 30. With the aim to produce more female-driven projects, Robbie and her future husband, Tom Ackerley, and their respective longtime friends Sophia Kerr and Josie McNamara, started their own production company Lucky Chap Entertainment. The company was founded in 2014, and its name was inspired by Charlie Chaplin. 6. Robbie appeared in 4 films released in 2015. The first of these was opposite Will Smith in Glenn Ficarra and John Requa's $158.80 million grossing romantic comedy drama film Focus. In the film, she played an inexperienced grifter learning the craft from Smith's character. She learned how to pickpocket from Apollo Robbins for the role. 32 reviews of the film were generally mixed, but Robbie's performance was praised. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone wrote, "Robbie is wow and then some. Even when Focus fumbles, she deals a winning hand." 33. She was nominated for the Rising Star Award at the 68th British Academy Film Awards. 34. Her next appearance was alongside Michelle Williams and Kristen Scott Thomas in Saul Dibbs' war romantic drama Suite Française, a film based on the second part of Irina Nemirovsky's 2004 novel of the same name. In the film, she played a woman falling for a German soldier during the German occupation of France during World War II, a role which Leslie Fulperin of The Hollywood Reporter found underwritten. 35. She followed this with Craig Zobel's post-apocalyptic drama Z for Zachariah opposite Chris Pine and Chiwetel Ejiofor, in her first leading role. Partially based on Robert C. O'Brien's book of the same name, the film follows Anne Burton, Robbie, as she finds herself in an emotionally charged love triangle with the last known survivors of a nuclear disaster that wipes out most of civilization. In preparation for the film, Robbie dyed her hair brown and learned to speak in an Appalachian accent. 36. The film received positive reviews, and Robbie's performance was widely praised, with Drew McWeeny of HitFix asserting that Robbie's work here establishes her as one of the very best actresses in her age range today. 37-38. Her fourth release of 2015 was a cameo appearance in Adam McKay's comedy drama The Big Short, in which she breaks the fourth wall to explain subprime mortgages while in a bathtub. The Big Short was a commercial and critical success, and Robbie's cameo became a trending topic 6 years later, in the wake of the GameStop short squeeze, as her explanation provided reference points for what was happening with the GameStop and related stocks. 39. 2016 to 2018, worldwide recognition. In 2016, Robbie reunited with Ficarra and Requa, playing a British war correspondent in the film adaptation of the Taliban Shuffle, called Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, co-starring Tina Fey and Martin Freeman. 41 later that year, Robbie took on the part of Jane Porter in David Yates's adventure film The Legend of Tarzan. She was adamant about not losing weight and ensuring the role was not a damsel in distress like in previous Tarzan adaptations. 42 reviews of the film were generally unfavorable. 43 but Manala Dargis of the New York Times credited Robbie for holding her own in her supporting role alongside the all-male cast with Alexander Skarsgård and Samuel L. Jackson. 44. Robbie in 2016. Robbie became the first person to portray DC Comics villain Harley Quinn in live action when she signed on to David Ayer's 2016 superhero film Suicide Squad alongside an ensemble cast that included Will Smith, Jared Leto, and Viola Davis. She admitted to having never read the comics, but felt a huge responsibility to do the character justice and satisfy the fans. 45. Robbie began preparing for the role of the supervillain 6 months prior to the film shoot. Her schedule consisted of gymnastics, boxing, aerial silk training and learning how to hold her breath underwater for 5 minutes. She performed the majority of her own stunts in the film. 46. Suicide Squad was a commercial success and was 10th highest grossing film of 2016 with global revenues of $746.8 million, and Robbie's performance was considered its prime asset. 47. Writing for Time, Stephanie Zacharek found Robbie to be a criminally appealing actress, likable in just about every way despite finding flaws in the character. 48. And Christopher Orr of The Atlantic called her performance genuinely terrific. 49. At the annual People's Choice Awards ceremony, she won the Favorite Action Movie Actress Award and was also awarded the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actress in an Action Movie. 50-51. In October 2016, Robbie hosted the season 42 premiere of NBC's late-night sketch comedy Saturday Night Live. Her appearances included a parody of Ivanka Trump. 52. The series logged its strongest season premiere ratings in 8 years. 53. Robbie collaborated with Domhnall Gleeson in Simon Curtis' Goodbye Christopher Robin, 2017, a biographical drama about the lives of Winnie the Pooh creator A. A. Milne and his family. The film, and her performance, received modest reviews and was a commercial failure. 54-55. Her final release of 2017 and Lucky Chap Entertainment's first release was Craig Gillespie's sports black comedy I, Tonya, based on the life of American figure skater Tonya Harding, Robbie, and her connection to the 1994 assault on rival Nancy Kerrigan. In preparation, Robbie met with Harding, watched old footage and interviews of her, worked with a voice coach to speak in Harding's Pacific Northwest accent and vocal timbre at different ages, and underwent several months of rigorous skating instruction with choreographer Sarah Kawahara. 56-57. I, Tonya premiered at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival to critical acclaim. 58. James Luxford of Metro deemed it Robbie's best performance to date, and Mark Commode of The Observer wrote, Margot Robbie's performance in this satirical, postmodern tale of the disgraced star is a tour de force tornado that balances finely nuanced character development with impressively punchy physicality. 59-60. She received numerous accolades for her performance, including nominations for an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award and a Critics' Choice Movie Award, all for Best Actress. 61. Robbie began 2018 with the voice role of Flopsy Rabbit in Peter Rabbit, an animated comedy from director Will Gluck, which is based on the Beatrix Potter book series. The animated feature was a box office success, grossing $351.3 million worldwide against a production budget of $50 million. 62. Her next two 2018 films, the neo-noir thriller Terminal and comedy horror Slaughterhouse Rulez, were critical and commercial failures. The historical drama Mary Queen of Scots, directed by Josie Rourke, was her final release of 2018. The film featured Saoirse Ronan as the titular character and Robbie as her cousin Queen Elizabeth I, and it chronicles the 1569 conflict between their two countries. Robbie had initially turned down the role for being terrified of not living up to the history of portrayals of the Queen. 63. Before each day of shooting, she spent 3 hours in the makeup chair while a prosthetic nose, painted on boils and blisters were applied. 64. Critics dismissed the film for its screenplay and several historical inaccuracies, but praised the performances of Robbie and Ronan. 65 Yolanda Machado of The Rap wrote, "Bow down to Ronan and Robbie for taking two legendarily complex characters, and completely owning both roles. Ronan's fiery Mary and Robbie's emotionally complex Elizabeth truly reign divine on screen." 66. For her portrayal, Robbie received nominations for a BAFTA Award and for a Screen Actors Guild Award. 67. 2019, present, established actress and producer. Robbie at the premiere of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019. Robbie's first release of 2019 was the Lucky Chap Entertainment production Dreamland, a poorly received period crime thriller set during the 1930s Dust Bowl. 68 She began executive producing the comedy series Dollface, which streamed on Hulu from 2019 to 2022. 69 Robbie was filmmaker Quentin Tarantino's only choice to portray the late actress Sharon Tate in his period film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. 70 With the Tate, LaBianca murders serving as a backdrop, the film tells the story of a fading character actor, DiCaprio, and his stunt double, Pitt, as they navigate New Hollywood in 1969 Los Angeles. 71 Feeling an enormous sense of responsibility, Robbie prepared for the role by meeting Tate's family members and friends, watching all of her films and reading the autobiography by Tate's then-husband, Roman Polanski. 72 Once Upon a Time in Hollywood premiered at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival to critical acclaim, and was a commercial success with a worldwide gross of $374.3 million. 73 Despite many bemoaning Robbie's lack of lines in the film 74 Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph highlighted a scene with Robbie in the cinema, which he found to be the film's most delightful scene. 75. Also in 2019, she starred as Kayla Pospisil, a composite character based on several Fox News employees, in Jay Roach's drama Bombshell. Co-starring Charlize Theron and Nicole Kidman, the film recounts stories of various female personnel at the news network and their sexual harassment by the network's chairman Roger Ailes. 76 Robbie based her character's accent on Katherine Harris. 77 The film received positive reviews. 78 Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "Robbie is at her best, the arc of her story is so crushing that it stays with you the longest." 79. For her performances in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Bombshell, she received 2 nominations for the BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role (AAD), and for the latter she received nominations for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild Award, all in the Best Supporting Actress category. 81. Robbie began the new decade by reprising the role of Harley Quinn in Kathy Yan's Birds of Prey, 2020. Determined to make a female ensemble action film, she pitched the idea for the film to Warner Brothers in 2015. Robbie spent the subsequent 3 years developing the project under her production company, making a concerted effort to hire a female director and screenwriter. 82 Birds of Prey, along with Robbie's performance, gained generally positive reviews. 83 84 85 Ian Freer of Empire wrote that the MVP is Robbie, who lends Harley charming quirk and believable menace, hinting at Harley's inner life without reams of dialogue. 86. She received 2 nominations at the 46th People's Choice Awards. 87. Robbie served as a producer on Promising Young Woman, 2020, a comedy thriller by writer-director Emerald Fennell, starring Carey Mulligan as a woman who seeks to avenge the rape and death of her best friend. The film received acclaim 88-89, earning a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Picture. 90 In 2021, Robbie reprised her voice role as Flopsy Rabbit in Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, which received mixed reviews and grossed $153.8 million worldwide. 91-92 She also made her third outing as Quinn in the standalone sequel The Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the film was simultaneously released theatrically and on the streaming service HBO Max. Owen Gleiberman praised Robbie's delectable performance in it. 93 She also served as an executive producer for the Netflix miniseries Made. 94 Robbie at the Sydney premiere of Barbie in 2023. In 2022, Robbie reprised her role as Donna Friedman for the final episode of Neighbours. 95 She starred alongside an ensemble cast in David O. Russell's period comedy Amsterdam, based on the 1933 business plot. 96 The film emerged as a critical and commercial failure. 97-98 In her second film release of the year, she played Nellie Leroy, an actress inspired by silent movie star Clara Bow, in Damien Chazelle's comedy drama Babylon. In preparation, she studied the works of Bow and researched her traumatic childhood. 30 She described Leroy as the most physically and emotionally draining character I've ever played. 30 The film polarized critics and had poor box office returns, though her performance received praise. 99 100 Karen James of BBC Culture opined, Robbie's bold, charismatic performance makes Nellie a daring, endlessly spiraling, sympathetic figure. 101 She received another Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress. 102 Although the underperformance of her two major releases that year led some commentators to brand her as box office poison at the time. 103 In the following year, Robbie had a single scene in Wes Anderson's ensemble comedy film Asteroid City. 104 Chris Hewitt of the Star Tribune described her impassioned acting in her lone scene as perfectly judged. 105 The fantasy comedy Barbie, co-starring Ryan Gosling as Ken, was her next film release. 106 As producer, Robbie bought the rights from Mattel for a film about the eponymous fashion doll in 2018. 107 She hired Greta Gerwig to write and direct the film, and took on the title role herself after Gal Gadot declined her offer. 107 In preparation, Gerwig and Robbie watched old Technicolor musicals such as The Red Shoes, 1948, and The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, 1964. 107 Variety reported that Robbie earned $12.5 million for the role, the highest for an actress in Hollywood that year. 108 Vulture's Alison Wilmore took note of how much Robbie fit the part, and commended her for combining both heartbreaking earnestness and humor in her performance. 109 With a worldwide gross of over $1.4 billion, Barbie emerged as Robbie's highest-grossing release. 110 She received further BAFTA and Golden Globe nominations for her performance, in addition to a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Picture. 111 112 113 Also in 2023, Robbie produced Fennell's second directorial, Saltburn. 114 The 2024 Sundance Film Festival marked the release of her next production, Megan Park's comedy film My Old Ass. 115 Robbie will next star alongside Colin Farrell in Kogonada's film A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. 116 And Jacob Elordi in Fennell's Wuthering Heights, adapted from the novel. 117 Personal life. Despite significant media attention, Robbie rarely discusses her personal life. 118 119 Robbie moved from Melbourne to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, in the early 2010s, having previously shared a flat with Neighbours co-star Ashley Brewer. 120 121 During that period, she became an avid ice hockey fan. She supports the New York Rangers and previously played right wing in an amateur ice hockey league. 122 123 Robbie met British assistant director Tom Ackerley on the set of Suite Française in 2013. 124 As a child, Ackerley served as an extra in the first 3 films of the Harry Potter film series, which Robbie has been a fan of since childhood. 125 In 2014, she moved to London with Ackerley and Lucky Chap Entertainment co-founder Sophia Kerr and Josie McNamara. Later that year, Robbie and Ackerley began a romantic relationship. 126 In December 2016, they married in a private wedding ceremony in Byron Bay, Australia. 127-128 The couple reside in Venice Beach, California. 124 In August 2024, the couple revealed that they were expecting their first child. 129-130 And in October, in the same year, Robbie gave birth to their son. 131-132 Other work. Robbie has been a vocal supporter of human rights, women's rights, gender equality, and LGBT rights. 133-134 Through Lucky Chap Entertainment, she and her co-founders focus on promoting female stories from female storytellers, whether it would be writers, directors, producers, or all the above. 135 In 2014, she was part of a fundraising event in support of the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which helps people in the film and television industries with limited or no resources. She joined the same event on 2 other occasions, in 2018 and 2020. 136 In 2015, she helped raise $12 million through the BGC Global Charity Day fundraising event, which donates money to different charities around the world. 137 In 2016, Robbie joined other celebrities and UN refugee agency staff in a petition aiming to gather public support for the growing number of families forced to flee conflict and persecution worldwide. 138 Later in the year, she joined Oxfam's I Hear You project, which was designed to amplify the personal stories of the world's most vulnerable refugees, and donated more than $50 to UNICEF's Children First campaign, in support of refugee children. 139 In October 2016, while hosting Saturday Night Live, Robbie made a stand for same-sex marriage in her native Australia.